So we're going to go into our lunge and our crescent lunge sequence for the basic lazy monkey yoga class. Now, right now I'm just kind of stretching out, doing a downward facing dog and a little three-legged dog. If you want to do the lunges from downward facing dog, you can, or you can go into the lunge from child's pose. It does not matter. You can even step back into a lunge from a forward bend. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into our lunge. Now, what I need you to pay attention to is I am closing off all of the space between my abdomen and my thigh. The front heel, the one that's underneath my face, is on the floor. The entire foot is on the floor. And I'm kind of wiggling a little forward and back to try to extend out my lunge as far as I can. But the important part is that the front foot, the front heel, is planted firmly on the ground. Now I'm going to go into my crescent lunge. I'm going to drop the back knee down to the earth, and I'm going to feel the openness that's happening in my hip flexor. From there, if my right foot is in front, I'm going to put my right hand behind my right foot, and I'm going to stretch up to the left and reach to the left. I can also use a block to support myself. And then I'm going to reach in the opposite direction, opposite hand to floor, and do a little bit of a spinal twist. I'm really trying to see how far I can open my chest to the sky and expand my chest. Now we're going to do some hip circles. So I'm going to put my hands over to the front corner edge of my mat, and I'm going to press my hips back, and I'm going to feel what's going on in my hip flexor and my back, what's going on, and I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to do that in both directions. That's very unique to the lazy monkey yoga style. Remember that we move in and out of our poses. We don't hold a lot of static postures in lazy monkey. It's a flowing style that stays close to the ground. I'm going to go into my gecko pose, so I'm going to try to drop my torso down past that front knee and thigh, get as low as I can to the ground. This is a nice deep stretch. I hold this stretch for a while with my students. And then we're going to lift up, tuck the back toe, turn it out, and come into your side lunge. Now from your side lunge, we're going to keep our hands on the floor, and we're going to walk it out to the opposite side. I'm going to walk it out to the other side. And then we're going to walk it out, and we're going to take it into a lunge on the other side. Once again, that front foot, that heel, that foot needs to be grounded into the mat. I can hug and grab a hold of that thigh and pull it close to my body, squeezing the thigh close to the abdomen to massage the internal organs and close off the space between the leg and the abdomen. Once I find the widest lunge I possibly can, I want to drop that knee down to the earth, and I want to come into a easy crescent lunge, easy crescent. So I'm trying to open up that right hip flexor. Now if my left foot is forward, I'm going to put my left hand on the floor behind, on a block, or the floor, and I'm going to reach up to the right, look up to the right, and reach and stretch. And I'm creating a lot of open space there in this lateral flexion for the right side of my body. Then I want to go in for a little spinal twist, reaching up in the opposite direction. Then I want to bring my hands over to the right corner edge of my mat. And I want to do a little bit of a hip circles to feel what's going on in my lower back and also in my hip. Now you can always put like a folded towel underneath the knee if for people who have issues with having the knee just on the yoga mat. You can also recommend, if you're in a yoga studio that allows people to use yoga mats, that you double up everyone's mat. That's what I did. I always recommend that people use 2 yoga mats underneath themselves for the lazy monkey yoga practice. That really alleviates a lot of uncomfortable feelings when it comes to knees and sits bones and elbows and things touching the earth. So going deep into that gecko pose, dropping the torso down past the thigh and the knee. We're going to turn it out again, and we're going to walk it out into a low side lunge. And then we're going to walk it out in the opposite direction. And now we're going to come into a standing forward fold, standing straddle stretch. So just come into a standing straddle stretch with the feet nice and wide. Hands on the floor, tuck the chin to the chest and allow the crown of the head to fall down towards the yoga mat. We can stretch it all the way out to the left, drawing our nose to our knee, tucking our chin to our chest, and then reaching all the way out to the other side, nose to knee, chin to chest. Come back to center. Wiggle your hips from side to side. You can do one more spinal twist in your standing straddle. Trying to open the chest as much as you can, reaching to the sky and beyond. Twisting, looking up to the sky, and trying to open your body up as much as you can. And then we're going to walk the feet closer together to come down into a sumo wrestler squat. And this is very important. Squatting is very, very, very crucially important in the lazy monkey yoga style. And everything that's going to come later in level 2 and level 3. Squatting is very important. So we always include a squat in our class. Just try to get people to do the best they can. Don't hold it for a prolonged period of time. You don't have to do that. Now what's going to happen next is absolutely optional. You can sit down on the floor, or if you want to do a figure 4 stretch, you can go into a figure 4 tabletop position where your hands are supporting the body and the shoulders behind. You cross your right ankle over your left thigh and come into a figure 4. This is a Master Adam lazy monkey yoga technique. This is a spinal twist where you can bring both hands up and over to the left corner of the mat, keeping the legs crossed. And even with the legs crossed, we do a little bit of a spinal twist over to the right and to the left. It takes some maneuvering to get there. This is not easy, and this is absolutely not something we would do for absolute beginners. This is something we would do if people have been taking our class for a while and they're comfortable with the lazy monkey yoga style. This is kind of like a trick. This is a trick to get into a trick because we use these positions to set ourselves up for particular hand balancing, but you can introduce the cross-legged spinal twist and a squat to someone that you feel is ready to do so. But like I said, for all intent and purpose, for a regular lazy monkey yoga class, you don't have to do that. This is bonus material for you. We will be doing this again in a higher level class. But regardless of whether or not you add the figure 4 stretch and the spinal twists, cross-legged spinal twist and a squat, you can just sit down on the ground and do a forward fold, nose to knees, chin to chest, and relax the back after your lunges.